developers and just as many approaches to corporate development. In the case of the development of a corporate headquarters on the wooded site at 101 Corporate Woods Parkway, the project originated with the vision of the owner-developer, who saw the inherent beauty and benefit of a naturally landscaped work environment. Then the developer waited 10 years to find the right tenant. The development process itself took an exceptional team effort among the professionals involved to realize this vision and to preserve the natural environment as fully as possible.
We were very lucky to find a company, TetraPack, which felt that the environment and preserving the environment was very important. Since they are a packaging company, they are very concerned about trees and nature and recycling and all those things that are critical in today's green environment.
The tenant initially intended to build a much bigger building on the site, but when they saw that the site was so treed, TetraPack downsized their office plus warehouse requirements and kept as many trees as possible. They wanted to feel like they were working out in the trees, and the office has the feel of a tree house. The office users work up in the tree crown constantly in an ever-changing environment, like having new artwork on the walls daily.
The tenant wanted a building that was as close to nature as possible. They wanted a very open environment, a very European style, open office, lots of glass. So not only do we have glass on the perimeter building, but we have glass within the building. So natural light comes in to even the deepest portions of the building.
This job presented many challenges to the site design team, consisting of civil engineer, landscape architect, arborist, and tree consultant. The project watchwords became to save as many trees as possible. And thanks to the dedication, professionalism, and passion for the job of all team members, the project proved a success. There were many challenges to the job, which stemmed from having to build a building within itself in order to save trees, rather than clearing an area all around the site so that the contractor could have easy access to it. Other associated problems arose, such as scheduling, logistical, and storage problems. And there was only one way into and out of the site for all of the construction traffic. The first step of the construction process was building the parking lot to provide a staging area for the building. The civil engineer on the project was central to such planning decisions.
From the very beginning, when the first concept plans were developed, we were taking the sketches from the architect and doing the actual land planning and the positioning of not only the building but the parking lot and all the other improvements that go along with it.
The added challenge of tree preservation meant that the engineer had to work with the trees on the site as part of the topography. So the engineer needed an accurate tree survey and tree inventory indicating the tree's conditions and preservability provided by the tree arborist, which became the roadmap for the engineer throughout the whole plan, design, build process.
The secret to saving the trees is we're not in the business of saving trunks, we're saving root systems. So we try very carefully to leave all those areas intact. That includes, utility construction, the utilities that drain the parking lots, the utilities that go to the buildings. We could go through with a very shallow Commonwealth Edison line, for instance, and do as much damage as a deep sanitary sewer through these root systems. So all this is tied into one design concept that minimizes the disturbance of the major preservation areas.
In much the same way, the landscape architect relied on the roadmap of the tree survey in order to determine which trees should be saved and how to position the site in relation to them. And there were a couple of occasions when the design team actually changed their property and site plans to accommodate trees. A tall oak, known as the hanging tree, looms over the front parking area in the grade change of 4 to 5 feet from there to the upper parking lot. It showed up on the plan a little bit out of alignment with the survey, but the team did not want to take it down, so the designers redrew the grade to include the hanging tree.
There were a number of trees that were also taken off this property, some 22 native trees that were here, basswood and hickory, but they were moved successfully and brought back in and used to reforest certain areas that were scarred by utility crossings.
Not only did the team save and relocate a number of trees, they also recycled those trees which were cleared as wood chips and saved all of the soil which had to be moved. This indigenous woodland topsoil contained a rich seed bank of native woodland flowers. The landscapers brought the soil back in to backfill around the building and the curb. Within 2 weeks of its return to the site in the spring, native trillium and other woodland flowers began to appear.
It's incredible to see that kind of regrowth in such a short period of time, but it also gives us an opportunity, and we wait with anticipation as to what the future will hold for this project, because some of the scars of construction are still apparent, but within a year we expect most of those to really be healed over, and it's to look as if this building and this property have been here forever rather than something that's only been here less than 9 months.
The arborist implemented selective clearing of the site for the building and parking lot based on survey lines set by arborist and landscape architect. The landscape architect handled the removal to an off-site location of those trees picked for transplanting later.
To make sure that we were protecting the trees during the removal process and not damaging any of the existing trees that were going to stay was a big part, so that we were not driving into preservation areas or dropping any trees in those areas that, or on any trees that were going to be staying, so that we're preserving them completely.
Conveying the tree preservation message to the subcontractors represented another important aspect of the project. The arborist accomplished this by meeting with the subcontractors, showing them a video presentation, talking about the project, and answering any questions about the additional limits imposed on them by tree preservation efforts. This educational effort resulted in a definite buy-in from the subcontractors as to the goals of the project.
Up to this point, we have had great success in the sense that those areas being protected have not been disturbed in any way, not by concrete washout or by trucks going into those areas. That when you look at these areas, that they're in a native state. They have not changed at all.
Both arborist and tree consultant focus on the long-term well-being of the trees, not only on the tree's survival throughout the actual construction phase of the project.
It's important that the tree-specific people like myself are available to answer questions and address anybody's issues that may come up. And as we look to the long term, the maintenance issues, we'll be involved with providing inputs to the arborist on long-term tree care and maintenance activities. Some of the trees we've kept in positions are a little bit close to the construction, so we may take a little particular detailed look at those and have a special program for those particular trees over the first 3 or 4 years to make sure that they come through the construction process as well as we'd like.
This long-term commitment to the unique natural landscaping of the site will involve ongoing crown and root pruning, as well as fertilization for the next 5 to 10 years. And clearly, the longevity of the beautiful natural surroundings at 101 Corporate Woods Parkway was enabled by a highly coordinated team effort among all players: owner-developer, civil engineer, landscape architect, arborist, tree consultant, architect, contractors, and subcontractors.
But when it really comes down to looking at the process and how we plan it, and how we build it, and how we maintain the property over time, it really, quite frankly, isn't about the trees. It's about the people involved and the process we have to follow, and if we do our job correctly, the trees will certainly benefit from that.
While saving trees were the project's watchwords, teamwork, professionalism, and mutual respect among the disciplines involved brought those words to life, and participants refer to themselves with pride as the Green Team.
I think one of the pluses of this job was, one, it was a challenge. And everyone from the top designers, ownership, all the consultants, down to the construction people, and every laborer and tradesman on the job, really took pride in this job. This is a unique design, not only for the building, but for the site. And I think everybody accepted the challenges and have done a heroic job. It's really been a joy to come out here daily and meet with all the people and coordinate the project day to day. And I'm really proud of everybody that's worked on this job, and I hope we get to work together again.